Welcome everyone. Glad you're here. Welcome to Change the Shed. It's January 11, 2023. Those numbers just keep going up, don't they? Y'all are here from all over the place. Thank you so much for popping in. I was just here last week, so I don't expect quite as many people to remember about Change the Shed today, but I will be gone next week, so I'll be teaching in Taos again. So actually for the next 2 weeks. I'll be back in February. I don't have a date yet, but I will figure that out. And one thing I think I've forgotten to mention since I've started Change the Shed is that I have a newsletter and a blog, and that's where a lot of my energy goes in terms of teaching. So if you don't know about it, Tapestry Picks right there is my newsletter, and you can sign up on the contact page of my website, which says Let's Talk. And that is where you will find out about when the next Change the Shed is, and when I have new things, upcoming classes, free teachings online, all of that kind of stuff. So sign up for Tapestry Picks. And I also announce the blogs in that newsletter. I think most people don't really check the blog. I mean, they don't go there every week to check them. Anyway, there's always lots of information there, and so I recommend signing up for that newsletter, Tapestry Picks, on the contact page of my website, and that will tell you when the next Change the Shed will be. It will be sometime probably in February, early February. On other things, if you want to give a donation to Change the Shed, I really appreciate everybody who donated for my 100th episode. You all were fantastic. Thank you so much. It made a big difference. It means that I can keep doing Change the Shed and keep it free. So really appreciate those of you who are able to throw a few bucks or a lot of bucks at Change the Shed. Some of you are incredibly generous. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. The donation page for Change the Shed is on my website under... it's RebeccaMezoff.com, Change the Shed. If you go to tapestryweaving.com, that is my website. Subscribe to my channel right here on YouTube. If you give it a thumbs up and subscribe, it makes a big difference. These are just ways to support me that don't involve any money. So those of you who don't have a lot of funds for learning, just please help me out by subscribing and giving the Change the Shed videos a thumbs up. Makes a big difference. And then the last thing, two more things I want to talk about, and they have to do with the Tapestry Discovery Box, right? Yeah, anyway, you see the box. This is a new program that opens today, so I'm very excited about it. I did a collaboration with Gist Yarn, G-I-S-T. It's the people who make this that I'm weaving with today. It's a company out of Boston that uses wool from the United States, Western United States, and they get their yarn milled and dyed in North Carolina. It is a USA product, and it's supporting the shepherds and, sheep growers and mills and stuff in the United States. I really love that. It's a company that's devoted to diversity and sustainability, and it's run by some really cool people. So I'm collaborating with them for this new program. And I will be talking to Sarah Resnick, the leader, owner, instigator of Gist Yarn on Tuesday, the 17th at 11 a.m. right here on YouTube. There's already a scheduled thing up. So you just have to come to my YouTube channel and you'll find the feed. And we're going to talk more about the Tapestry Discovery Box and about Gist Yarn and how it is manufactured and why, and the company, and it'll be a fun talk about yarn and also tapestry weaving. So come next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Again, that kind of thing is always in my newsletter. So if you want to make sure you know about that, subscribe to Tapestry Picks right here. I'm going to take that off, but it's contact page on my website. So welcome everybody from New York and South Carolina, Illinois, Healdsburg, California, where Southern California especially, it has been raining and crazy. Julia's here from Germany, welcome, and Hilly from the Netherlands. Jean from Texas, Judy from Canada, British Columbia, Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Hi, Mary Lou. Brenda from Pennsylvania, Paula from the UK, Northumberland. Michelle from South Carolina, Paula also from Northumberland, UK. Y'all are in cahoots, I think. Renee from Massachusetts, Marina from Florida, Anne in Indianapolis. Eva's here from Spain. Robin, Christine from Ottawa, Canada. Pittsburgh, hi Susan. Nancy from Rhode Island. Karen from the UK. Carmen also here from Spain. Stacy from North Carolina, Jennifer from Joshua Tree. When I always say Jennifer, I love Joshua Tree. I'm such a desert gal. Linda's here from Maine, and Jennifer from North Carolina, and Littleton, Colorado, right down the road from me. Let's see. Okay, great. Marlena's here from Texas. Nan is asking about the ATA discount. It is not applicable to the Gist box. I'm sorry, but this particular product, the Tapestry Discovery Box that I've been talking about, is the commerce is run through Gist. You have to sign up through Gist yarn, and it includes a box that has 7 colors of array yarn. There's no way for me to make the ATA discount, which applies to all my other classes. If you're an ATA member, you get 10% off any of my classes. There's no way for me to make that applicable to the Tapestry Discovery Box, so I'm sorry, but no, it is not applicable there. And also a huge chunk of the price you're paying is for the yarn. So that is not fair if, Gist isn't getting paid for their yarn if I give you all a discount of 10% on the whole price. Anyway, you understand. There are reasons, but the discount does not apply to this particular product. So, gosh, I'm glad you're all here. Julie from Kirkland and Kim from Ohio. Welcome, everybody. Looks like we have, 65 people. So people did remember Change the Shed. Thanks for keeping track of it all, y'all. Yeah, so I'm going to go back to this problem I created with the little gnome last night. I was weaving on her, and here I'll put I was weaving on this, and I created a little problem for myself. So we're going to work on that today. Last couple sentences about this Tapestry Discovery Box. What it is a subscription model course. So I wanted to create something that was about community and about ongoing learning. So every quarter, it's 4 times a year, every quarter there is a new basically a new course, a new amount of content about a technique using the Gist yarn, and then I suggest some projects for that technique. So it's a lot of fun. There'll be a big community part of it. It will include some live events every quarter, and it'll be a lot of fun. There's more information on my website, tapestryweaving.com, under online learning, and you can sign up at the Gist website, which is gistyarn.com. I should have written that out, but GIST yarn.com. You can find all that information on my website. There's all the links and everything. All right. Boy, can't think of anything else to go over. Mary Lou says, is the Discovery Box going to be a video on demand or scheduled classes? This is just like all my other online classes in that you go to Pathwrite. I have handouts and videos and live events and all of that, discussion areas, all in the online class. So you purchase the box with the yarn that includes the class, and you get an access code to get into the class. And then every quarter you have to pay again. It's a subscription model. So you get a new box of yarn, a new set of class information stuff. It's not scheduled. It's just like all my other classes. You go in and watch the videos whenever you want to. There will be a Q&A every quarter, and those will be live, but they're always recorded. Hi, Vincent. I'm so glad you're here from Berlin. Fantastic. I don't think I didn't see anybody. Oh, no. Julia's here also from Germany. Welcome. I'm so happy that all of you can chime in from all over the world. It's really fun. A lot of fun to be able to see where everybody's from. So I hope that's fun for you all to see too. Let's look at this silly gnome thing I'm doing. well, it's not really silly, but here, let me switch the cameras and let's see if I can put that down there. This little gal, here's my cartoon. So I was weaving along last night, and you'll see I have marked the warp, but the warp, it's a fringeless for selvage warp. It's hard to see what's going on there. And I was so focused on making these mittens, like I really wanted mittens. And I forgot that the hair comes in this way. So I have screwed that up right here, and now I have to figure out how to fix it today. And I would have preferred to have time to fix it before I saw you all, but I did not. So we're gonna see if we can make that hair look okay without unweaving the mittens, because they were a real pain. I will say that this particular design, if a student sent me this design and asked if they could weave it at 4 inches square on 8 EPI, I would say no, make it bigger. So I have boxed myself in by making a choice that I knew was going to be difficult. The only reason I did it was because this is a fringeless for selvage warp, and I knew that I could split the warps for the little mittens and potentially for a couple other areas where there's some detail, maybe the face. If I didn't have the for selvage warp, this is 8 EPI, this would be probably mostly impossible, and I would have to make other design choices. So I just wanted to say that right out. If you were in one of my classes and asked about this design, I would say make it 6 inches square instead of 4. So I've written my own whatever. Vincent asked if the Discovery Box is only for US residents. Not at all. Just Yarn is happy to ship internationally. The only people who are going to find a problem with that are in the UK. I'm really sorry, you guys. You all know it's because of Brexit. If you're in the UK, just has said if they will ship to the UK if you can go in with a friend and order 2 boxes. You have to order beyond a certain amount for them to ship to the UK. So contact Gist if you're in the UK and you want to do this program. There are ways around it, but it probably involves finding a friend who also wants to jump in on the fun. But anywhere else in Europe, Gist is happy to ship to you. Not a problem at all. Nan, if you pause your subscription, you can cancel, you can't pause. There's not a pause button. If you cancel your subscription, will you still have access to previous quarters? No. So this is one of those things where it's a subscription ongoing, and unlike my other classes, if you cancel, you will lose access to the class, but we will give you an extra quarter to catch up on the class material. So you will have some extra time. If you just feel like, whatever, it's not working out, or whatever, if you need to cancel, you will lose access, but you will have a little extra time to access the material you have. I would just like to say that part of this program is about the community, and it's about interacting, and it's definitely true that you're not going to want to do every single project, but the techniques and the other things I present are going to be really valuable. So I just want to say, if you reach a project and you're like, no, I don't want to do this, either we should talk about other things you want to weave with that technique, or it's just one that you are going to want to skip. Yes, Jessica's asking about cotton seine twine. There Gist sells number 12 seine twine. That's made by Broussard in Canada. That's a great warp for these projects. So if you're getting your very first box and you don't have warp, you can add it to your box, and we'll just add it to your total and send it. There's also a level for free shipping with Gist, so you might look at that after a certain amount. I don't know what it is, but you can get free shipping. So okay, yeah, Jennifer, that's a good tip. We're going back to the gnome here in a second. Yes, Nan, I hesitate to answer this question. Will the older quarters yarn projects be available if we start the subscription later? Yes. I don't know how long we're going to do this. I hope for a long time, but the old information will be in there if you subscribe later. I hesitate to say that because I'm also trying to make a living, and that means you get my work for free. which is fine, but I just consider that if you decide to wait for 2 years and then subscribe, yeah, you'll get a lot of free content. But I also have done a lot of work on this. Yes, it will be community oriented, Marina. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about it. It's been fun to develop, and I'm already working on the second and third boxes, so we're going to have a lot of fun in there. So Jennifer said you could raise the pigtails. At first I thought she had bushy armpits. Ah! That's great. Thanks, Jennifer. I played with this design for so long. How do you make like hair and whatever? Anyway, it's just an experiment. I could raise the pigtails. I think what I'm going to do actually is just bring this curve over a little bit. And right here, here, let's put this under here for a second. You'll see what I mean. If I just move this last little bit that I put in on each side, I think is what I'm going to take out, and then start the hair, and we'll see how it looks. If it doesn't work, whatever. So this is one of the things I've been talking about in another class recently, is design in the design class, which also is open, by the way, Design Solutions Season 1. If you're more interested in diving into design and how to make these kinds of decisions, how to think like a tapestry weaver kinds of decisions, that class is running live right now, and there's room for you. Welcome, Verena from Highlands Ranch, also right down the road. Angel wings. Thanks, Emily. Bushy armpits or angel wings. We could go with either one. I'm going to make them yellow. I'm going to make them this, like, hold on, where's the hair color? I'm going to make them this color because why not? The hair. So we'll see. Let's do a little outline here before I add. So here's the color for the hair. What I did, I just took out this little bit, and I'm going to bring the hair over to, I'm going to split, I think I'm going to split this warp and bring the hair over there. Okay, so let's start with an outline here with down here. See how I did this dark gray outline? I'm tempted to do that with the hair also. Let's see how it looks. Why not? This is black 1. This is actually their darkest black. I feel like it's a little bit charcoaly, but it's lovely. I'm going to use 2 strands instead of 3 for this outline. We'll see if that makes it too thick. And then I'm going to split this one, like I said. Okay, and bring them back together. Just, that's a full sequence. I think that's going to look good by the time it packs in. So let's go with that. And I'm going to do a little splice here. Okay, I think that might work out. I don't know. Let's try the hair and we'll see what happens. Let's see if I can get the hair in the right shed for the blue. Okay, so this blue on the edge is coming in from the side going this way, so I want meet and separate. So I'm going to add this yellow hair color coming in from, so they'll come together, meet and separate. And I'm going to stick it down. Let's see, am I going to stick it down there or do a pigtail? I'm going to do a pigtail. Not pigtail like hair, pigtail like tapestry pigtail. Okay. I think that might be okay. The other thing I wanted to do for this hair actually is add these little lines, so that'll be interesting. Considering that this is 8 EPI and a fairly fat weft bundle, that might be, probably have to decrease the number of them. I originally did the warp on this gnome for a different project, and then I decided I was going to weave a gnome, and same problem, this is also 8 EPI and a lot of detail for that level. And then I went and designed this one. There's even more detail, but I wanted it to match the other one, so I left it at 8 EPI. So I have created a bunch of problems for myself. Okay. Let's see how to make these. So tapestry woven is always woven from bottom to top. So what I want to do here is fill in this little shape, and I don't have this marked on the warp, but fill in this kind of a shape and then put in that outline. And so let's just play and then see how it looks. Right. And again, I'm splitting that warp. That's why I have this problem here, that this is only through one of the two warps, fringeless warps. Splitting the warps works pretty well with fringeless, especially near the bottom of what you're weaving, but when you get closer to this top edge, it's a lot harder. Okay, that looks good. Let's do, so I wanted to make the darker lines. This is Marigold 1. That's the darkest marigold that there is. Kind of guessing it's not going to be dark enough. I'm going to try, I'm going to use 2 strands like I did for this charcoal outline and just decrease the number of lines, because otherwise I don't think it's going to show up. It's a value thing. Ooh, I probably shouldn't have put that one all the way to the corner. Marina, how many strands in my weft bundle? For most of the weaving, 3, and this is just array. You could maybe get away with 4 strands at 8 EPI, but for something that has so much detail, 3, and then occasionally, like right here, I'm only using 2, because that gives me a little more detail, a finer line. I am going to take this out, believe it or not. I try not to do this on Change the Shed, but I have changed my mind about this right there. I think it will make a big difference if I don't go all the way to the point with that. So I just took that one out. Just that one little thing can make a difference in the form. And then I'm going to just fill this in again. Hopefully similarly to what I had before. Yeah, so this is 3 strands, which is nice at 8 EPI. I like the 3 strands of this yarn. It's similar in size to the Weaver's Bazaar, if you're in the UK especially. Weaver's Bazaar medium is pretty similar in size to this yarn. I love Weaver's Bazaar yarn. It's really gorgeous. So if you're anywhere in the world, you can get the Weaver's Bazaar yarn. I certainly have a lot of it. It's just, boy, Brexit's made stuff a lot harder, hasn't it? Okay, back to this darker gold. Let's see if it shows up. And I want this outline to go all the way to that tip of the little hair. Let's see if it works. I am going to splice this a little bit. Just makes the finishing easier. I think these two little gnomes need to be mounted side by side. So maybe next Christmas we'll have gnome decorations for Christmas. Or whatever holiday. Whatever December celebration. Sorry, I'm just trying to adjust this little edge. I need a tapestry bobbin. This is super picky, but sometimes the refinement of just making sure the weft is pulled tightly enough makes a difference. Okay, let's go back to filling in with this on top. We're again making this little swoopy shape. See how well that happens with such a thick weft bundle. Oh yeah, I do have, Jennifer, this is the 1 ounce cone. This is what comes in the Discovery Box. I don't know how many yards it is. I've used some of this too, but they're about like this. So this is 1 ounce and these are 4 ounces. So Vincent asked, what yarn size of Weaver's Bazaar do you use? I use both the fine and the medium. The medium I think is fairly close to the size of this. Compare the yards per pound. That's the best way to figure out whether the size is about the same. But I use 3 strands of Weaver's Bazaar medium, just like I'm using the Gist Array. So that's why I think they're very similar in size. And then I use fine a lot. I really like the Weaver's Bazaar fine. It comes in the most colors. And you can mix the two, which is really fun. So you can mix finer strands and the fine and the medium quite easily all the time with Weaver's Bazaar. So having both of them is not a bad thing. If you want to start with the medium and then add fine later, you can still use your medium weight yarn. Okay, so here's a little cheat right here. I put that line in and I'm just going to go right over the top. Yeah, that's going to be a little hard to see, but I'm going to go with it. Let's fill this in here before I get any farther because I don't know that I'm going to like where I just put that, and I won't know until I get the rest of this orange in. With these split wefts, sometimes a needle is really helpful. With the, fringeless, this where I'm splitting the warps with the fringeless, sometimes a needle is helpful to get that in there. Yarn, just a plain yarn needle. All right. So far, so good. I also have to look, there's like a little decoration on her shirt there, which I think is going to make a difference. I think it's going to look a little weird if I don't put that in there. So, great. Jennifer says it's 210 yards, I think, in this cone of array, tube of array. Thanks, Robin. I hopefully this, I think it's going to look like wings. I think Emily's right. I think the hair is going to look like angel wings. So we'll just call her the angel gnome. How about? Okay, so now the question is, let's see. I'm just going to weave this color all the way up to this, and then I need to move this over one, and that was what my question was. Let's do this and this. Let's see what happens here. I I think that'll work. I'm going to put one more line of this darker marigold in there and see if we like it. If I don't like it, next time I weave a gnome with hair that isn't armpit hair, I will do it differently. It's all learning experience, right? I'm gonna do this. Kind of made that a little bit fatter in the middle, but with the splice, I think it's going to be okay. And then I just want to get the lighter color on top. Good gnome, bad gnome. Yeah, that's a good idea, Christine. We'll make this the angel gnome, and then we'll do another one that is the devil gnome, and then we'll have, I don't know. These are the things that make art fun, right? Just playing around with stuff. Okay, if I do that, I'm probably not going to be happy with it. I'm going to want to go under one more because of the color. And it's not going to quite have the swoop that I want, because this yarn is too fat and I've already made the hair bigger than I really wanted. But it's all right. It's all an experiment. All right, from here I'm gonna just keep this one color. So let's just weave this shape for reference, and I can adjust it if I need to. Okay. Well, it's sort of close to this shape. Kind of. I know it's going to pack in too, so it's going to be a little bit squishier. Verena says, I was sad to hear fire wasn't going to be easily available anymore. I love the Faru yarn. It's made by Borgs, and Borgs declared bankruptcy or went out of business a couple months ago. They have been in business for 300 years, since the 1700s. It's appalling to me that we're losing businesses like this. I think someone else purchased the rights to the yarn or something. I think it's still going to be made, but obviously if there's a switch over to a new manufacturer or something, that could take quite a while to happen. So don't give up yet, and don't give up your stash of Faru, because I think it will still be available through somebody else, but we don't know yet. Same thing happened with Patternayan. They went out of business. It took a couple of years for the company Colonial Needle to get back up and running, but they are doing pretty well with their stock now. So it's a good yarn. Hopefully it will still be available, but it might take a little time. Hooray, Marlena got the Just Discovery box. Thanks, Marlena. Yeah, the box of, I don't know how long it takes to get a box of that to Texas, but I bet not too long. I know they're ready to ship the yarn, so. Yeah, Carol asked, what if the hair was changed to braids? I did think about that, Carol, about making these braids instead of hair. I couldn't figure out a good way to weave the braids in this orientation. I considered turning it like this to weave it, because I think I could have really made the braids easily that way, but then I had a big problem with the face in terms of if I had made it like this guy doesn't actually have a face, he just has a beard. If I had done something with her clothes or somehow made her not have a face at all, maybe I could have turned it sideways and woven it. Or maybe I'll do the next one sideways. I think the braids are a good idea. I just decided not to go with them this time. Okay, so that's about where I need this next thing to go. actually going to do, this is another little trick. I'm going to take one of those strands out. I want this to go over, but I don't want it to be quite as thick. So I just put 2 strands over that last thing. And then I think I want to outline that again. Let's see how it looks. It's so interesting to watch myself weave on these small tapestries versus my large ones. If I'm on my floor loom and it's a large tapestry, I've pretty much decided what I'm doing ahead of time. And on these little guys, I'm just playing as I go a lot of the time. This shedding is wrong, so I'm going to put that one down, and I'm going to bring this one over to shift the shed right there. And I'm actually going to anchor it by splitting this fringeless thing. These are just little tricks you learn the more you screw around with tapestry weaving. Okay, now I should be able to get the shed the way I want it. Yes, which was one shed all the way over this little form. I think, not sure I'm gonna like that very much, but yeah. So I will use, when I put this blue in here, I will sort of pack that in to get that little dip of a shape in there, hopefully. But yeah, we will suspend judgment until we weave some more. So I am going to do the same thing on the other side. And though I would like to move on from here, if I don't finish the hair on the other side, because we weave from bottom to top, I will be stuck. So I have sewn this slit and I have woven this blue up to the bottom of the hair, and I'm just going to bring this the rest of the way out to the edge eccentrically. And then I need to make this come up a little bit, so I have a little more blue to do. Yes, I said this at the beginning, but I will be teaching in Taos, one of my own retreats next week. A couple of you are chatting about that. And I will see Marlena there. I will be there from Wednesday to Wednesday, which is the problem with Change the Shed. So I won't have it for the next 2 weeks, but we'll pick it up after that. I'm looking forward to being back in Taos. Always love going there. What a beautiful place. And winters in Taos are really gorgeous. There's usually a lot of sunshine, sometimes a little bit of snow. I always look forward to it. Okay, now I've created that little hair shape on this side. I'm wondering if I can get away with leaving that. I'm going to try it. I'm going to leave that one orange thing there and not unweave and see what happens if I add the other hair on this side. The other pigtail, I suppose it is. Okay. Cool. Oh, yeah. Those of you who are Taos people, I'm going to split this. This is actually in the wrong shed, but if I split this, I think it will work out okay and it won't show. Taos Wools is it's a yarn company run by Joe Barry, who used to be part of Weaving Southwest. He was their main dyer there before they went out of business, and he makes beautiful yarns. and he is in Taos, so we will be seeing Joe, I think, for sure. If nothing else, he has a Saturday market that people who want to go to can go to. I don't know. He might, yeah, I'm thinking out loud. Might have a special treat about that for you guys, those of you in the retreat. I will let you know. And if we do get to visit Joe somewhere else, I will put some pictures on my blog for those of you who aren't going to be in Taos next week. This is just the outline for the little hair. Okay. This one's shaped a little differently, which will be fine. Let's see. Yes, I actually cut off some of the weft for this one before I started. Now let's do the same thing. Remember how I looked at the shedding when I did the thing on the other side? Let's do that again. I'm going to do that by opening the shed here and looking at which direction this one is going, because this has to weave on top of this other one. I want it to be in, I want them to be in meet and separate. So this one is coming this way in this shed, and this one will need to go this way. I bring this all the way up because otherwise part of this, if I don't run this the whole way, part of this will be in the wrong shed. And then once I have done that eccentric outline, I can fill in back and forth. I'm going to, yeah, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to use a needle to help my fingers out. With a pigtail, and this is another instance where I split that fringeless warp. I have a little magnetic needle block. I love these things. This is so useful because I don't end up losing needles all the time and stepping on them. It's made by CJM Woodcraft. Somebody whose name I'm forgetting gave me one of these at Red Alder a few years ago, and then I ordered some more. I love them so much. Great for anyone who uses a lot of needles. I use it when for knitting too, just for, to have a tapestry needle nearby. And I use sometimes magnetic metal stitch markers. Gosh. And those will stick on there too. Okay, let's fill this little dip in, and let's not forget the darker marigold. I can see this darker marigold fairly well. It doesn't show up as much as I'd like, but we'll see when it's all done. I wasn't sure about much of this one when I was weaving it. I thought this is just not going to be cool. And then I really liked it, I think mostly because of the hat. So maybe if the hat's really cute on this one too, it'll all be fine. Filling in, oh, see, I did the exact same thing I did on the other side. I didn't learn. I brought this all the way out. Remember how I took that out over here? I'm going to take it out now because otherwise I'm going to take it out in 3 minutes. All right. Okay, let's just take this out. Let me just get this going, and then I will answer your last questions. And okay, so this is going to be similar to what I did on the other side. I'm going to put in this other little marigold color. Unless I look in my stash and decide that there's a color that will stand out a little bit more, that's an orange red. Actually, this would be another option maybe. It's a little bit dark, but it would make those lines stand out. So next time you see it, maybe I will have switched that, or maybe I will just have gone with it. All right, we'll call it the angel-haired gnome or something. I don't know. Okay. Oh, cool. Verena's going back to Weaving and Beauty. So I grew up in Gallup, New Mexico, and Weaving and Beauty is a weaving shop mostly centered around Navajo weaving in Gallup, which is my hometown. So if you go there, Verena, have so much fun. She's also going to Taos this weekend. So here's an advantage of living in Colorado. You can go to New Mexico in the winter. Yes. Okay. When you order the Discovery Box from Gist, they will send you an email with the link to get into the class. Needle minders. That's true, Jessica. There's lots of ways to mind your... I think this would probably be called a needle minder, right? It's just a magnetic thing. The problem is that it makes your needles magnetized, so sometimes it's a little... I realize that they are picking other things up, which is kind of odd. The course, you will not find the Tapestry Discovery Box on Pathright. That is because the commerce goes through Gist. You will need to pay for it at Gist Yarn, and then they will send you the link to get into the class. That is the only way we could make that happen, and it's easier for me because they're selling yarn to have them manage all the commerce. So, okay, cool. Yeah. Taos, all the things, New Mexico. Hopefully wherever you all are, you're having a great winter. Hopefully none of you are being flooded out or, whatever. There's weather all over the world, I guess. I don't know why we talk about the weather. I think it's a habit I developed during COVID because I got tired of talking about the pandemic. So now that the pandemic is finally feeling significantly better anyway, I've actually left the house in the last 6 months quite a few times. So, and I'm teaching in person again. So that's something. I hope that all of you are having a similar return to somewhat normal life. Although, if I were you, I'd keep wearing your mask. Cool, that's a good idea, Jennifer. She keeps button magnets on her Mirex tension nuts. Huh, never thought about that. So like rare earth magnets? Yeah, that's a great idea. Then they could also grab the needles or whatever you wanted to keep. It's sort of like those knife hangers you put in the kitchen to hold the knives, except we're going to hold weaving tools. I love it. Thanks, Jennifer. Goodness gracious. Thank you, guys. I'm in my rambling phase, so it's time for me to move on. I will be back in about something like 3 weeks, but check into my newsletter to make sure you know when I will be back. Just go to my website and look for the Let's Talk thing and sign up for that, and I'll let you know what's going on. I just got a cool video that a really fantastic professional weaver sent me that I want to include in tomorrow's tapestry picks. They come out mostly on Thursday, so there will be one tomorrow with some cool things in it. All right. Thanks, you guys. It's so wonderful to see you all again. Thank you for showing up and having great questions. And I will see you in the online world, and I will see some of you in person next week. So that will be fun. Thanks, everybody, and I will see you in a few weeks.